There are people who change the environment just with their presence. Others have words that seem to hit right at the point of pain. There are those who pray and see lives being restored little by little, and there are those who simply feel a weight in the heart when they pass near someone who is suffering. These people are not common. They carry an invisible but very real gift, the gift of healing. This gift does not come from one's own will, nor is it earned by human effort. It is given, it is delivered by God as part of a greater purpose. The mission is not just to relieve symptoms, it is to touch the invisible, to transform the visible. And no, not everyone has this. It is something set apart for the chosen. If you feel that your presence has already calmed someone without understanding how, if your prayers have brought immediate peace, or if your heart aches when you see someone suffering, perhaps you have been marked with this gift. Today we are going to explore 7 real expressions of the gift of healing, with different experiences, everyday examples, and revelations that will help you identify your type. My name is Miguel, and I want to invite you to stay with me until the end. If this message touches your heart, follow the channel to continue this journey. Let's discover together whether you are one of the chosen. What heals without speaking? The gift of presence. Not all gifts manifest with words. There are people who do not need to say anything for an entire room to feel lighter. Their presence is enough. When they arrive, it is as if the environment breathes. The weight in the air disappears, tensions diminish, and even those who were silent feel welcomed. It is an invisible but real gift. This type of chosen one carries something that cannot be explained with logic. It is not just friendliness or a calm demeanor. It is a kind of peace that comes from within, as if the soul were constantly connected to the presence of God. Even in the midst of chaos, these people are like a pause. They do not impose, they do not call attention, they are simply there. A woman who worked in a hospital noticed that agitated patients slept better during her night shift. It was not just competence, nor nursing technique. It was something she carried without realizing it. Her voice, her way of walking, the way she entered the rooms. All of this conveyed rest. It was spiritual, even without words. The gift of presence is not limited to religious contexts. Sometimes it appears in the workplace, at school, at home. People around seek out this type of person without knowing exactly why. They feel that there is safety there. There is something that does not judge, does not demand, and does not need grand gestures. Mere existence already heals. This presence is a reflection of a life that cultivates silence with God. It is not the fruit of performance, but of communion. The soul becomes so full of light that this light escapes in small gestures, in glances, in the way of listening. Those who carry this gift usually do not even perceive themselves as such, but others feel and recognize, when I am with you, I feel at peace. Those who have this gift are called to be a shelter. In the midst of the noise of the world, this person becomes a refuge for those who need to breathe. Another's weariness does not frighten them. Another's sadness does not weigh them down, because their presence does not try to fix, it simply allows existence. And this space is where healing begins to happen. Some ask, but shouldn't I say anything? Don't I need to pray out loud? Not always. There are healings that begin when someone sits next to another and simply stays. There are moments when God heals through shared silence, through a look that understands, through a presence that does not demand change, but conveys unconditional love. This type of chosen one is a channel of healing without needing grand words. It is like a gentle wind that blows without making noise, but changes the temperature around. Their value is not in what they say, but in what they carry. And that is powerful. Many only regain hope because someone with this gift was nearby. If you have heard phrases like, Just being with you, I feel better. When you arrive, the house becomes calmer, or I do not know why, but talking to you gives me peace. Perhaps this is your gift. Take care of it. Do not doubt the impact of your presence. God can heal many people simply through what you convey. Those who listen without haste and heal without promising. There are healings that happen the moment someone feels truly listened to. Not because of advice, but because they find someone willing to truly listen. The gift of deep listening is not just about staying silent while the other speaks. It is about being fully there, perceiving the pain behind the words, feeling what the mouth does not say. This type of chosen one does not interrupt, does not rush, does not try to solve everything with ready-made phrases. They simply listen. And it is in this space, in this true welcoming, that many begin to heal. Because there is something miraculous about being able to vent without fear of being judged. The ear that listens with compassion becomes a powerful tool of healing. A young man saved the life of a friend who was thinking of killing himself. He was not a therapist, nor a pastor. He simply sat beside him, listened to the crying, and stayed there, without trying to give answers. He just cried together. That moment of true empathy was what prevented the end. Sometimes, all someone needs is someone who does not run away from their pain. The gift of listening brings lightness without needing many words. It offers rest to overburdened hearts. Those who carry this gift feel a strong impulse to welcome, to be together, to listen with the heart. Often they do not even know how to help, but they know that being present is already part of the help. That is healing too. This listening is not curiosity, nor passivity. It is a listening that prays while it listens, that surrenders the other's pain in silence to God. It is a listening that does not offer ready-made solutions but conveys safety. Those who are suffering feel that they have found a safe place, and this opens doors for the Holy Spirit to act freely. This type of healing is slow and deep. It does not happen with a touch or an intense prayer. It happens gradually, like someone returning to breathe after a long time holding their breath. That is why the chosen ones with this gift need patience, sensitivity, and faith. Because many times they will not see immediate results, but the process began there. Those who listen with the heart need to care for their own soul as well. Sometimes, carrying many people's pain can be heavy. It is important to take everything to the feet of God without trying to solve it alone. The gift of listening is not to carry others' burdens, but to help share them with heaven. This balance is what keeps the chosen ones steady. If people seek you out to vent, even without you asking, if you feel a calling to listen even when you are tired, if you notice that something changes in the other, just because you are there, attentive, this may be your gift, and it is precious. Because where someone listens with love, God begins to speak with healing. The touch that releases rest. There are people whose touch is different. When they hug, pray, or place a hand on someone's shoulder, something changes. It is not magic nor a healing technique. It is the presence of God flowing through the body of one who makes themselves available. The touch of certain chosen ones does not bring only comfort. It brings relief. It is as if part of the pain left at that very moment. It is not only about hands. It can be a hug, a caress on the hair, even a simple handshake at the right moment. God uses these human connections to transmit peace, strength, and renewal. The touch, in this case, is a channel, and those who carry this gift know. There are situations in which a silent prayer with a gesture is worth more than 1,000 words. A real example happened with a simple man from a small church. Whenever someone went through an emotional crisis, he would ask for permission, touch their shoulder, and say a short prayer. No one understood how, but the person left lighter. People who had cried for days smiled afterward. It was not him. It was the Holy Spirit, using touch as a bridge. This gift requires sensitivity. The chosen one needs to discern when to touch and when not to. Not every moment calls for a physical gesture, and not everyone receives it well. But when guided by God, the right touch at the right time becomes medicine for the soul and balm for the body. This discernment is the secret. The person with this gift usually feels subtle signs in their hands, warmth, tingling, or a gentle impulse to pray by touching someone. It is important not to ignore these signs. When aligned with God, the body also becomes an instrument of ministry. Hands that touch with respect and love carry real spiritual healing. It is common for children, the elderly, and even animals to naturally approach those who have this gift. They feel the energy of welcome and peace. Those who have this restorative touch are usually sought out by tired, sick, or distressed people, even without understanding why. They just know that there is rest there, even if only for a few seconds. This calling requires holiness and care. The body is a temple and must be available for the move of God. Those who pray and fast regularly keep the channel clean. Touch, when consecrated, becomes an instrument of deliverance. There have been reports of people delivered from traumas, fears, and even physical pains after a touch from someone filled with the Spirit. The touch that heals does not force, does not impose. It respects and accompanies the move of God. Sometimes there are no words, only the gesture, a gentle touch, an outstretched hand, and heaven acts. Those who were healed by this gift often do not remember what was said, but never forget how they felt when they were touched with truth and love. If you have ever felt an impulse to touch someone during prayer, if your hands warm up for no reason when you see someone suffering, or if people tell you they feel calmer just with your hug, perhaps this is your gift. Do not underestimate it. Touch also speaks, and in God's hands, it heals. When compassion becomes healing. There are people who feel others' suffering as if it were their own. They cannot ignore someone else's pain. Even without hearing a word, they already perceive that someone is unwell. Sometimes they feel a weight in the heart, a sudden sadness, or even mild physical symptoms. This gift is called spiritual empathy, and it is one of the deepest paths to healing. These chosen ones have a heightened sensitivity that often seems exaggerated in the eyes of the world. But for God, it is a tool. They feel in order to intercede. They feel in order to welcome. They feel in order to understand what words cannot translate. And when they use this gift with wisdom, they become bridges between heaven and the broken heart. A young woman reported that, during a service, she felt a strong chest pain for no reason. When she looked at the person beside her, she was certain, "It's not mine." She prayed for that person, discreetly. After the service, she found out that the woman was in a deep emotional crisis. The feeling was not hers, it was a warning. And at that moment, healing began. This type of empathy is not gratuitous suffering, it is a mission. But the chosen one needs to learn to surrender the pain to God, so as not to become overloaded. Feeling too much without surrendering it to the Lord can make one ill. Therefore, it is essential that those who have this gift always pray, rest, and understand that the weight felt is not to be kept, but to be taken to the altar. True compassion heals because it does not judge, does not correct, does not charge. It embraces first. It understands before it explains. This is what differentiates the spiritual empath. They do not try to fix. They approach, feel together, and show that the other's pain is not invisible. This gaze awakens faith because the wounded person understands that they are not alone. This gift also appears in those who attract spontaneous outpourings. People feel confident to open their hearts without knowing why. It is as if something inside the chosen one said, "You are safe here." And this emotional safety is fertile ground for the Holy Spirit to work. Healing begins when someone feels they have permission to be weak, without fear. Compassion is not pity. It is silent action. It is praying without being asked. It is offering presence when everyone else has already left. It is supporting someone without demanding recognition. Those who carry this gift often weep with those who weep without understanding everything. But they understand that at that moment, that is where they need to be. If you feel what others feel, if you absorb others' sadness, if you have prayed for someone who did not even tell you what they were going through, or if you have felt a strange pain just by entering a heavy environment, perhaps you are one of these healers through compassion. Learn to use this gift with balance. It is precious and changes destinies. The faith that sustains even when no one sees. There are chosen ones who carry such a firm faith that they become support for others. Even without making a fuss, they keep believing when everything seems lost. This faith is not loud. It shows itself in silent attitudes. A prayer made in the bedroom, a word spoken with conviction, a look that says, "It will work out, God is here." This gift does not depend on emotion or environment. Even on the darkest days, when the news is bad and answers do not come, the guardian of faith remains firm. They do not need to see to believe. And their constancy serves as a pillar for those who are weak. It is like a candle lit in the midst of a storm, illuminating those who have lost their way. Once a mother received a difficult diagnosis about her son. While everyone despaired, she did not let go of her faith. For weeks, she prayed at dawn, even tired. She read the Bible and declared healing, even without signs. After a while, the doctors said there was improvement without explanation. For her, it was simple. It was God. And faith sustained everything. This type of faith does not arise out of nowhere. It grows in trials, strengthens in pain, and is consolidated in intimacy with God. Those who have this gift have already gone through deserts but did not become bitter. On the contrary, they learn to trust in silence and to believe without demanding guarantees. Their strength lies in continuing, even when everything screams to stop. Sustaining faith is not theoretical. It acts. These chosen ones do not just wait. They pray, serve, fast, walk. They know that believing is also moving according to God's direction. When healing has not yet arrived, they keep the altar lit. And many times, they are the ones who hold the hope of an entire family. This gift also manifests in simple words but loaded with conviction. Sometimes the chosen one says, "I believe for you." And that phrase becomes the bridge that brings someone else back to hope. It is not about convincing. It is about carrying the other's faith until they can believe again with their own strength. Being a guardian of faith is also being a channel of healing. Because when someone is broken, the first thing that is lost is faith. And when faith returns, the miracle finds space to happen. This faith is not just personal. It is contagious. Those who live with someone like this begin to believe again, even without realizing it. If you usually pray for difficult causes, if your faith does not change even in the face of fear, or if you have noticed that your hope keeps other people standing, perhaps this is your calling. You do not need to prove anything. Your constancy is already healing. God uses you to keep the flame lit that many thought they had lost. The gaze that sees beyond the pain. Some chosen ones receive the ability to see what is behind the pain, not only the symptom, but the root. They look at a person and perceive that what hurts in the body began in the soul. They do not judge. They simply discern. And when they open their mouths, their words reveal truths that bring healing, not because they accuse, but because they set free. This gift is rare. Those who carry this prophetic sensitivity do not use what they see to exalt themselves, but to serve. Often they speak phrases that seem simple, but touch areas that the person has never shared with anyone. They are words that reveal and at the same time relieve. There are chosen ones who carry healing in something as simple as a hug. It is not magic, it is not exaggeration. It is the way the Holy Spirit manifests through touch, through gesture, through closeness. Sometimes a hand on the shoulder or a handshake is enough for someone to start crying, feel peace, or even stop feeling pain. This touch does not come from techniques or training. It comes from intimacy with God. People who carry this gift usually do not realize how much they are used. They only know that when they touch someone with the intention of helping, something different happens. The environment changes, the anguish diminishes, and even the person's body seems to breathe better. A young woman said that every time her grandmother prayed for her with her hands over her head, it was as if a weight left from within. The grandmother did not shout, did not say difficult words. She just prayed with her heart, while touching with affection. The girl could not explain it. She only knew that afterward she felt lighter. It was the touch that healed. Those who have this gift are usually sensitive, loving, and caring. They know how to respect the other's timing. They never force anything. Their hug does not invade, it welcomes. It is as if their presence carried rest, and the other person's body understood. Here I can relax. Here there is safety. The touch becomes a bridge between heaven and the pain of those who suffer. The touch that heals can also relieve physical pain. In some moments of prayer, the person lays hands on a painful area, and relief comes soon after. It is not about the strength of the touch, but about the presence of God flowing through it. And that presence reaches what no medicine can access, the weary spirit. This calling needs to be lived with zeal and surrender. Touch can heal, but it also needs to be pure. Therefore, those who carry this gift must always take care of their spiritual and emotional life. The more at peace they are inside, the more peace their body transmits. Pure touch is born from a heart aligned with God. If you feel that you have already touched someone and that person reacted intensely, crying, giving thanks, relaxing, or even sleeping, that may be a sign of this gift. You may think that you did nothing, but you did. You were a channel. Heaven used you to relieve someone's weight without needing many words. The touch that consoles is also the touch that restores. In a world where people are wounded, tense, and lacking in sincere affection, this gift is gold. A simple gesture can be an answer to prayer for someone who just wanted to feel that they were not alone. Those who touch with love heal with truth. If this is your gift, embrace it. Serve with humility, touch with intention, pray with faith, and continue being a shelter for those who need healing without words.